Hello, Denise.
Hi, Lavender. How are you?
Wonderful, wonderful. How are you this evening? How was your day?
It was fantabulous. Fantabulous. That's a new word that I
Wonderful,
have now. You're just fabulous and
fantabulous.
fantastic. Fantabulous.
Hey, be careful. They may put that in the dictionary. Who was it? Rachel Ray that came up with delish, and then they added it to the dictionary.
They
Keep
better not
using it.
take
You
my
might be.
word.
Oh boy. Well, welcome to the Other Woman magazine, another segment that we have to our viewers. Dr. Duke Speaks. Of course, we have, she doesn't need an introduction. She is a regular now, Dr. Denise McLean Dukes. But go ahead and introduce yourself for those who may not know you, Denise.
Okay. Well, again, my name is Denise Dukes, and people call me Dr. Denise, Dr. Dukes, whatever. But I'm just a regular person that has been into holistic health and wellness for over 35 years. I'm not going to add on the years as they're mounting on because I just enjoy what I do. And so, but yeah, I've been studying and researching and experimenting with natural foods and herbs for healing the body um, for that length of time for over 35 years, like I said. And uh, I actually hold a doctorate degree in fitness science and nutrition. And also, I'm working on my second doctorate degree in holistic counseling as well. So that is in the process of the works right now. But in the meantime, I just enjoy educating people on ways that they can actually help the body to heal itself because I believe that God designed the body to heal itself, and He's given us everything we need to do that. Unfortunately, with the way the world is now, is a lot of it has been contaminated and just kind of left out there. Where we just it's hard to find true sources and all the information that we need. So I'm one of those that love to research, experiment on myself. And so I'm just here to share the knowledge with you guys and help you to help yourself and your family and our children because they have a new world that they're coming into and they're going to need this information that we're going to give them to pass down to them.
You said you like to experiment on yourself. What was the first thing that you experimented on? What was the first thing? Do you remember? I know it's been many things.
I would say CMOS. The Dr. Sabi introduced me to. Well, no, let me see. Maybe before then. Um, I'm trying to remember, but no, I know CMOS was one of the first things. The formula that we carry at Natural Organic U is the same formula that Dr. Sabi used for the CMOS, bladderwrack, and burdock root. That was like an eye opener for me because it gave my body so much energy and so many, those minerals were just, you had no idea. I had no idea. And I was young. I mean, considered, I'm still young. Hey,
Of course,
still,
we are.
yes. So, but I was numerically younger. So, but just the CMOS was like amazing, and so that was one of the first experimentations. So I used to do everything with CMOS. I used to blend it up and put in my smoothie, and then I would make different types of oats and things like that, and just kind of experimenting with different types of natural foods to see how they blended well, the berries and things of that nature. So, but yeah,
So you
juicing.
carry sea moss at your place? Your
Yes, we do. It's called bioplant minerals, and so it reason being it has over 100. It has 102 of the trace minerals that our bodies actually need every day. So it's just a supplement, a dietary supplement that the body needs because we don't really get that in the nutrition in what we're eating. Because
right.
unless you're just living on an island and you're eating right off the trees and the grounds, fresh food every day, you're not getting it, especially here in
Right.
America.
You're
You
right.
just not.
You're right. They
Mhm.
say eat your medicine, but you would be eating all day. So
You
you
will
really
be
do have,
literally eating all day,
yeah.
and it's numerous reasons for that. It's because, and this is kind of lead into our segue, Lavender.
Hmm.
The soil here in America, where they farm a lot of the crops, are so depleted, and even in other countries because of the pesticides that they've been using over hundreds of years to in the ground, for the plants, and the soil has absorbed all that, and it's depleted the nutrients in the
Mm,
soil. So if the soils are depleted of nutrients, guess what? The
the
plants that's
fruit and
growing out
vegetable.
of it is
Yeah.
depleted.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So, and that's not even talking about hybrid or GMO, foods. We're talking about just natural foods that would grow from the ground.
And you know what? That is so important. I have the definition of food desert. We're leading into what the topic is tonight. The information that you've already shared, if you don't read or if you're not in an environment of teaching or surrounded by people who believe in whole foods, who believe in natural or organic, you will never know about this. You will
No.
never know about it. And this is why I enjoy having you on, because it's not only beneficial for listeners, I learn also.
Mm,
And
praise
as
God.
I create the Other Woman magazine website, I will have some of our past talks, our conversations on the website where people can go and see the archive, all the past. This is important.
Yes,
This is
ma'am.
really important, and people don't realize, especially how important it is now with Whole Foods, fresh food shortage. For
Right.
those in Alabama, I don't know if you all know, but Whole Foods just recently closed. You know?
Talk about whole food shortage. That's a pun.
I know.
No
I
pun
know.
intended.
Yeah.
I'm so silly. I'm sorry, guys.
Girl, that is the truth, though. That is the truth. And with that being said, explain why. And you know what? If you don't eat whole foods, if you don't try to eat healthy, you may not even know that there is a shortage of fresh foods, of whole foods. So
Mm.
explain that, Denise.
Okay.
Why is there a shortage?
Okay. When you were saying that, it came to my mind. God said, okay, let me clarify first. What is whole food? Because
Right,
we know the store name, like you said, no pun intended.
right,
But whole food is where it is a complete source of the nutrients, vitamins, minerals, complete source in itself. For it doesn't need anything added to it, nothing taken away from it. So it
no
is
preservatives.
no preservatives in it whatsoever. It just comes from the earth and is completely, you know, filled with everything, all the goodness, all the nutrition that our bodies need to
Right,
to feed itself. So that is what whole food is. So when we're talking about whole food, because I know you guys hear it a lot, and you're like, "What is whole food?" And
right,
I kind of look at it plant based. So I say plant based whole food, same thing. It's just a fullness, of everything it's supposed to have.
right.
So where we
It's
come
natural.
natural, right? It's this naturally grown, and it's naturally has everything it needs in it. So where we're going to right now, where we are. Let's start with where we are in the moment. We know that right now there is a growing abundance of shortage on whole foods, meaning plant-based foods and other foods as well in our country and around the world. So why numerous reasons, which we won't get into tonight. But what we are going to get into is how we're going to solve that problem. I don't like to give people a problem or recognize
Without
a
a
problem
solution.
without a solution.
Mhm.
So that's one of the things that I've always, you know, prided myself on, the fact that I'm always going to give you a solution to what the current problem is. So again, like I was saying in the beginning, a lot of the foods that we're eating today, are GMO, which means genetically modified. They're meaning that they have been taken, a plant and another plant has been taken and married together, and they grow it together, crossbreed it, and it becomes another plant. So it's I'm sorry, that's a hybrid. I'm sorry, that's a hybrid plant. So that's a hybrid plant. When you take one plant and take another one and you put it together and it grows another plant that's in that same plant field. So it's
So,
just like taking a poodle and a Labrador and mating them together, and then you have a golden doodle or whatever, these
right.
dogs that are hybrids. The
It's
problem with,
man-made.
yeah, man-made, because you're putting something that's not naturally
Natural.
created to be together. It's not a plant that grows in a wild, or an animal that actually, came into the wild. So with that being said, it's going to miss some of the nutrients. It's going to be missing some of the DNA that particular plant, one plant would have and another plant would have. So it's going to be incomplete in its source. Then we have the genetically modified, which is what I was talking about before. That's more in a lab, where they create the plants in a lab and they grow them in the lab, and then they put them in the crops in the fields and grow them from that source, you know. So
GMO.
GMO, and
So,
corn is a very high GMO plant. White corn, field corn, what they call field corn, is a GMO, genetically modified organism. So it is. That's why it's very hard for the body to digest corn and break it down, because the body is not doesn't really recognize it, as a whole food. And that is the
right.
difference. When we consume whole food, the body recognizes we won't have the bloating, we won't have, the heavy digestion, the acid reflux. The body just kind of breaks it down and eliminates it. We won't have the constipation and all this kind of other things going around when we are consuming wild whole food plant sources.
So
But
when we buy food, Denise, and it says on the package or whatever it is, non-GMO, that's non-genetically modified, and that's what we want to see.
we want to
Correct?
see that. Correct. Correct. Because
Okay.
if it is genetically modified, you're consuming something that was created in a lab, and possibly has chemicals in it, and it's used chemicals. It has to use chemicals in order
Even
to,
fish, like
even fish.
farm-raised fish.
Yeah, tilapia is one. The one here they sell in the
And,
United States is a GMO fish. It
and
is
that's
not a
what you
natural fish in
get.
the wild.
Right.
The
So if we
tilapia,
buy fish, we want wild caught.
wild caught.
Right.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
And so, getting back to, you know, what are our solutions, for, dealing with this, because we're living in a world that everything is fast, 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 and our bodies are just getting weaker and weaker in
Hmm.
terms of being able to heal itself. And God created the body perfectly, where it can heal itself when given the right
Right.
nutrition
Nutrition.
and or
Right.
the right herbs. Herbs are for, just like the Bible says, the healing of the nations. So when you use herbs, they are there to help the body to heal itself for a certain condition. Um, it is not something that you normally would take over a long span of time, because the herbs, and then you have like herbal teas, which are good to drink and good to have, but they're not as concentrated as a potent herb, for healing the body. um
Right.
so so that's why herbal teas are, on the market, because they're watered down enough to where it's not going to cause you any major issues, health concerns, because of the fact that they're not as potent as it would be for the real, the heavy, the extra strength potent herb that you, the natural form of it. And then a lot of them are mixed with other things as well, so they're not, again, as potent. So when you're dealing with food shortages, what do we do? Because not only are we dealing with lack of nutrition, what we're also looking at is heavy pesticides on the
Mhm.
foods, or possibly bacteria contamination. E. coli. How many times have we heard of food being recalled, bags of
Years,
greens being
for
recalled
years.
at grocery
Yeah.
stores because of E. coli contamination?
Hmm.
And those are just the ones that got caught, you know, that people got
Right.
sick from, and they recognized it. But think about how many people actually consumed all of those bags of foods all around the country, all around the world.
Hmm.
I'm talking about here in the United States right now, because that's where we are basically. That did not even get the recall, or who consumed
Right.
those
Right.
grains or
Right.
things, and and we may be walking around with E. coli in our
Hmm.
gut and
Hmm.
not even know it.
And
And
if
it's
you eat
making
enough
you
of
sick.
it, your body tolerates it and you
Yeah,
think you're okay.
you think you're okay, but your body will eventually show you, because that's a bacteria
Hmm.
and it's a parasite. So it lives off of your nutrition, and it defecates inside of you. It releases signals to your brain and to your body, and it gets into your bloodstream, and it causes other damages in your body. So a lot of, illnesses that we're dealing with could be coming from parasites, contamination, parasitic contamination in the body. And so, how do we get through this? So, what I have been studying over the last, I would say, 10 years, I've really done a lot of research on this and really been looking into it, because I was looking at the pros and cons. And it's just, honestly, this is the best source that I have found, because the traditional farming is just, they're making farmers stop farming. A lot of them are not able to afford to farm. They're making it so expensive for them. They're buying up farming lands, the crops they're buying. It's just so much going on that we don't even know about when it comes to the foods that we are actually having access to. So they have, it's not a new technology, but this technology has been around for a long time. But it used to be called hydroponics, and they're tower gardens. And I'm sure some of you may have heard about these. Um, However, in the recent years, I say the past 10 years, I've been looking at aeroponics as opposed to hydroponics. And what they are vertical gardens that grow upward as opposed to, vertical and horizontally. So you're not having to use the land and all the water and,
Mm.
an expense of keeping up a farm and pesticides to keep the insects away, and the pests away from the garden from eating up the crops. Because these vertical gardens, and they are being very successful in growing, and they use seedlings, and it's usually in a what's called a volcanic pod, which holds all the nutrients inside of it. So you have a nutrient solution that's used to, you put into the bottom of the garden, of the sorry, of the vertical tower, and it feeds up to the top, and the water flows back down and gives all the nutrients to the roots of all the plants in the garden. So if you want to see some of these, they're on the website of, we love the arts.org. That's probably the easiest one to get to. we love the arts.org and go to Urban Tower Gardens, Greenhouse Tower Farms, and you can actually see these gardens. Chicago O'Hare Airport, they have a tower farm in their airport, and they use the food for the restaurants. The restaurants buy the vegetables. I mean, if you taste the lettuce and the strawberries and the fruits that come from these tower gardens, it's like you are tasting food for the first time.
Is that the correct website? We love the arts.com.
.org, I'm sorry,
Dot,
.org. I
okay, let
said
me finish
.com.
that. Okay.
.org. Thank you. So it's when you can eat it right off of like, and you can grow these right in your home. You know, I'm going to talk about some things that we're going to do as an organization to provide the communities to eradicate food deserts in our country. But as a person or family, you need to look into these. If you want to provide your family with safe, fresh, cost effective produce that is affordable and can grow year round, you can have one
Wow.
of these in your home. You can have it in your home. They have the grow lights that you can actually grow it right. Some people have it right by their living room table, dining room table, and the children get involved in it because it teaches them about the importance of eating fresh produce. And they
So
watch
it's
it,
not something you put outside?
and you can put it outside. You can put it outside. Just make sure you're using some natural pesticides because you are going to have bugs. When you expose plants to outside, bugs are going to gravitate to it. So, and then you're going to want to have to use some type of pesticide. But there are natural pesticides that you can use that can help keep the bugs off, as opposed to using the ones that cause cancer, that are carcinogenic to the body and
Okay.
cause damages in the body. So there are
How
some
tall is the tower, Denise? How tall
um
is
usually about 5 feet tall, 6 feet at the most, 5 to 6 feet at the height, and it holds about the individual one holds for a family, it will hold like 36 plants.
it? Wow.
And it has, oh my god, the you have cabbage, you have arugula, you have spinach, you have kale, you have different types of kale, you have all types of lettuce, you
And
have
this is in your home?
collards, you have no, you don't have turnips, no root flowers. This is in your home, yes. um Cucumbers, god, let me go on and on and on.
Do you
uh,
choose the vegetables
You
or
can
does it
choose the
come?
vegetables that you want to grow, even herbs, thyme, cilantro, you name it. You
Let me
can
tag
grow
my sisters because we need to come together and get this. I'm going to tag them and watch. This is, why wouldn't you do this?
right, and they're very affordable for the long term. When you look at the long term
Yeah.
rewards that you're getting out of it, a normal tower garden for a family, just one that grows 36 plants. Now we're talking about 36 plants that grow, but they produce like every 8 weeks. So every 8 weeks, you're going to get, and this is year round, year round.
That's almost
So,
unbelievable. How long have the
so
towers
if you
been
spent,
around, Denise?
a tower garden would normally cost, without the grow lights, about $800. Okay. And um, if you go and if you get the ones with the grow lights, it's going to cost you about 1,200 or 1,300 because the grow lights, about another $400 added on to it. But to grow them inside, but like I said, you're talking about yielding food for your family, you know, every 8 weeks. Never having to go to the grocery store, never having, I mean, to go grocery store to buy fresh produce anymore because
What
you're
about those who live in an apartment, Denise? If you live in an,
yes, yes, I live in an apartment and I have one. So it's I have honestly I haven't set it up yet. I just have it and I'm trying to decide whether I want to do a little greenhouse on my balcony because you can actually put them in a greenhouse in your yard. And that's what I prefer to do because I don't want to deal with pesticides or
Right.
pests. So
Right.
either I'm going to do the grow lights, but they were out of the grow lights for my particular, and that's why I hadn't set it up honestly, because I was going to actually grow it in my apartment and use the grow lights. But they are back ordered on the grow lights, this particular company that I was using.
Okay.
So but there are like several out there, but like I said, on my website, there's some links on there. You can just click on those links and go right to it and take a look at them. But I tell them we're invest in those, because food shortages are real and whole food shortages are very real because even before we talked about the shelves being empty, like I said, what wouldn't you pay for your family to know that your family is eating something that doesn't have any E. coli on it, no
Right.
bacteria, no
Right.
pesticides, fresh that you picked, that you grew with your own hands. And the great thing is about it is it uses 90% less water than traditional farming. So about
Really?
10% of water. That's it. And
So
you
you
just
don't ever have to worry about the weather. You never have to worry about the environment if you have it
never
inside.
right. You just grow it
Wow.
inside, and they are just amazing. We have a several ones on the website, so you can actually see what they look like and
So if
everything.
you all want to see what these towers look like, go to welovethearts.org.
Mhm.
Welovethearts.org. And if you're just tuning in, they are tower gardens that you can have in your home and grow fresh fruits and vegetables in your home, in your apartment, or as Dr. Duke says, you can have them outside, but you would need to have the right pesticide. And you mentioned a greenhouse. If you want to see these, look at the pictures on Dr. Duke's website, welovethearts.org. I am really interested because I've been talking about starting a garden and I
Mhm.
wanted to start one this year. And now is the time.
Now,
But it
yeah,
sounds like it's low maintenance too, the
it's
tower garden.
very low maintenance, very cost effective. Once you get past that initial purchase, it's very cost effective to keep up. And to your body, it's going to be invaluable, to your health. It's something that you can't even put a price tag on
And
because,
it's 30 plants,
yeah, 32 plants,
32
yeah.
plants.
You can get one that has less than that, but I always say that's a good one to get is the one that has about 32 plants on it. And I will kind of go over just some of the vegetables and things like that comes with it. But yeah, you can grow up to 30% more healthy food 3 times faster. And let's see, it uses NASA technology. I'm just trying to read to you some of the things that I had, researched and put on my website. Um,
Okay.
but so you don't have to worry about, weeds, you know,
Wow. Now, that
pulling
would
up
be like the
weeds in the
lazy man,
garden, being
the
out there
lazy
hot in the
man's garden.
sun, you know, and I mean, gosh, I can't even think about this summer. It's going to be so hot. But, for individuals or families, this is something I highly recommend that you get involved with. Where we come in as a nonprofit organization, what we are doing is, as an organization, is we're trying to eradicate food deserts in America. And we're going to start with, of course, our hometown of Alabama, Montgomery. And
Great.
so we are going to be establishing a farm, the greenhouse farms. And again, I'm really pushing for the greenhouses because again, I don't want to have to worry about pests so much, putting, treating for pests or worrying about the rabbits or whatever eating the food.
Right.
So,
Right.
when you have a farm, and these are again vertical farms, and they're just rows and rows of green, beautiful, you know, vegetables, and then you have strawberries, you have, oh my God, um, what was it? Oh God, it's so many different ones. I'm sorry.
What do you have? Which ones did you choose? Did you choose, or did you just take the ones that came with the tower?
um, I chose the ones that came with the tower,
Okay.
and so but I'm gonna kind of go over some of the ones that come with it, just so you guys can have an idea.
And you
Um,
guys go to welovethearts.org if you want to see what these vertical tower gardens look like. It
mhm.
is definitely an investment, something that you can have in your home, in your apartment, or of course you can have it outside. I like the idea of outside with the greenhouse. I like the idea that it's low maintenance. I want to farm, but I don't have time to farm, you know. Um, some people like to do it for therapy. Some people like gardening, but you think about making sure they are free from pests, making sure that the environment, whether it rains or when it gets cold, these grow 24 hours. I mean, 20, not 24 hours, year
Well,
round,
yeah,
year
round year
round.
round, 24/7, year round. You were right. 24/7, 365 days. So it's no special season for, usually, nature, in nature, when you're growing in nature, you have to wait for a season to grow certain
The
foods,
season.
because frost would kill it, and things of that nature. But I'm gonna go over, these are just some of the vegetables. Amaranth is arugula, beans, lima, bush, pole, shell, green beans, broccoli, Brussels sprouts, cabbage, Chinese cabbage, cauliflower, chard, all types of chard, chicory, collards, cucumbers,
Did you say
cress,
collards?
collards, collard greens, grow your own collard greens, dandelion, eggplant, European and Asian at that.
Wow.
Endive, garbanzo beans, edible gourds, kale. We know about kale. Everybody, let me tell you, you have not. I went down to look at a tower farm, and I pulled. I got the kale right off of the tower, and man, when I say it tasted nothing like this kale that we have in these grocery stores. I said,
Really?
"What in the world have I been eating?"
Oh my
Because
goodness.
we don't realize a lot of our food comes from overseas. It
Right.
doesn't grow here in the United
Right.
States.
You're right.
Honey,
A
let
lot
me
of people
tell
don't know
you.
that. Yes. I'm on
So,
your website now. I'm on We Love. I just got
and
excited.
just
We
go to
Love.
Urban Tower Gardens, because that's kind of the local one. But in the Tower Farms is what we're going to be doing as a nonprofit. So when people buy, natural organic you products, our proceeds from that go to the fund to establish the tower farms. And so we're going to be establishing those
Oh
to
wow.
local schools and churches that want to take on that responsibility of being a catalyst to their community and providing fresh produce to their community for free, because the money that people spend with us is going to do that, go to help establish those.
Okay.
So getting back to, we're talking about leeks, lettuce, all type, melons, all types, mustard greens, okra, peas, peppers. We got the red peppers, green peppers, yellow peppers, spinach, squash, all types, strawberries, tomatoes. Oh my God, the cherry tomatoes that come off of there, the plum tomatoes are
Oh my
delicious. Taste
goodness.
like fruit,
Girl.
which they are fruit, but you know,
Yeah.
but we have
Wow, they're beautiful. Okay, I'm on welovethearts.org. Welovethearts.org because I wanted to see a picture of this vertical tower with fresh fruit and vegetables, and it's beautiful. It's it's
isn't
it's
it good?
almost I've never seen this before, and it almost makes you wonder if it's real.
I know. I know, because like I said, I've been researching it for over 10
Oh my
years
goodness.
because I wanted to make sure. I would say, okay, now is this something they're going to start adding, chemicals to, or what, because, how is this going to work? But, it is really it's part of this, the new technology. And, we're talking about, um, the way the world is now. I mean, we're not getting real food right now. We're getting food that's full of carcinogens,
Byproduct. Yeah.
byproducts, pesticides, all kinds of things. So are we really getting real food? And when you taste the difference between a tower garden um, plant and what we eating in the grocery store, you're going to realize we have not been eating real food. We're not getting the full nutrients from that food that is supposed to be, we're supposed to be absorbing. So what happens with the aeroponics, the roots hang down through the little shoots that, the plant is growing out of. And when the water, the nutrients that's in the bottom of the water, and it flows up to the top, and it drizzles back down, and it basically covers all the plants, the roots. And so all the roots are getting all the nutrients that it needs, and the plants grow so beautifully, as you'll see on the website. And so that is, and when I, like I said, I had to see it for myself to believe it. And then Orlando, I think it's Orlando International Airport. They have an indoor garden. If you just pull up Orlando International Airport Tower Farm or Tower Garden, they are growing their food for the restaurants that are in their airport
Wow.
and
Wow.
for restaurants around the community. So you can actually feed a whole community off of these tower farms, depending on how much you grow and how much you have. But there are people in New York that are growing them on their rooftops. Um, you have people,
To
schools
need
that are
more
growing.
than one, if you're going to feed a community, you would need several of the tower gardens, so correct?
Mhm. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so even for a family, so for a family of four, one tower garden seems like it would be enough.
That would be
But
more than
you're
enough.
you have two or three for your immediate family, and everyone has their own family. Say me and my two sisters, we all live in the same area. If we wanted to get together and have it for the whole family and be able to share um, with other family members or close friends, coming together and getting a few of those tower gardens, you could definitely share
Yeah,
because it looks like it produces a lot of fruit and vegetables.
right. It does.
It's a
The
wonderful investment.
It is, and I'll tell anyone, please, please, please make this investment. Look into it. Speaking of family, it has a tower garden, family garden. Now, when you get that one, you get three different um, pods. Let me see, and it grows everything you need to. You get everything you need to grow up to 84 plants, fresh vegetable, herbs, fruits, and flowers. You can even grow flowers, but I'm trying to feed the world. I'm not
I'm
worried
trying
about flowers
to.
right now.
No, I know.
you know, yeah, I'm not trying to do the flowers.
Yeah.
I need food I can eat and we can consume. That I
And
know is
there's no
healthy.
soil. There is
No
no
soil, no
soil.
soil, no soil.
So I'm
Mm-mm.
going to read real quick something off of your website. Let me put we love the arts, we love the arts.org. We're talking about these vertical tower gardens that can go in your home, in your apartment, inside, outside, and they grow. Uh, it says 30% more healthy food, three times faster, and they're year round gardens. Year round gardens, so you don't have to wait for the season to begin a garden. You don't have the maintenance that you would of going outside and fighting off the insects, the pests, and all that kind of stuff. So it says good health starts with good habits, like eating wholesome foods. We teach you how easily you can grow your own fresh, nutrient rich food virtually anywhere year round without soil. We're how do you say that? Aeroponics.
Aeroponics. Mm-hmm.
Aeroponics. Tower gardens grow plants with only water and nutrients rather than dirt. Research has found aeroponic systems grow plants 3 times faster and produce 30% greater yields on average. And it also says without loads of work, no need to worry about pests, disease, weeds, like traditional gardening, can be complicated and time consuming. But because these vertical tower gardens automatically deliver water and nutrients when they're most needed, you're able to grow strong, healthy plants with minimal effect. Now, that speaks my language because I've been talking about growing a garden for about 3 years, but the time, the effort, um, I just haven't done it. But this is like I said it earlier, the lazy man's garden, but it makes
Yes,
complete
it is.
sense to me.
It is. It really is. And so like a community garden, what we're looking at putting into this, they're going to have 12 of those tower gardens. So that would be feed a whole
Yeah,
community. And so like I said, we're going to be putting them in the schools or the churches, I we're going to probably start with the school because it would teach our children how to take responsibility of food, first of all, but it's also going to be teaching them about science, math,
right,
the STEM, technology
right,
and engineering. So it's going to have the STEM lessons that go along with it. And it has a whole lesson plan that I
wow,
teach when I teach tower gardens. So the kids will be responsible for taking care of these gardens, but they will be inside of a garden, a greenhouse, on the property of the school, and it will be given to the schools. So they would be one. So basically, they can grow the produce and they could sell it to the community at a very reasonable cost, you know, and because they're going to have to make money to buy more seedlings, and keep it up, so
right,
we're not going to go thinking that they can just give away the food for free because they can't, but they
right,
can give it
right,
away. It can make it reasonable, a lot more reasonable than you go buy some of this junk that's in the grocery stores right now.
exactly. So are you
So
looking for churches and schools to volunteer,
yeah,
to be okay,
to
good.
be a
So in
catalyst.
the
Yes,
Montgomery area,
yes.
tell them how they can contact you if you're a part of a church or a school who would like to be a part of this program and have the tower garden in your church or in your school.
Mhm.
They contact you how?
Through our welovethearts.org website, the
Oh,
contact form, and just note in there that, yes, our church, da da da, put the information in there. We're interested in a tower farm and, in being, having a community garden. And if you're a school as well, same thing. Or if you know of a school, but I need to have the cooperation of everyone on board, because we'll come in, we'll bring everything that you need and get you started, but we need your hands on deck,
right.
to do it,
So you
and
don't want to just set up the tower garden and leave. You need the participation to maintain
oh
it.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
because after
yeah,
after we give it to you and we teach you, we set it up and we teach you everything you need to know, then it is your responsibility after that fact, to keep it going, to keep it producing food for your community,
right.
and feed your community, your family and your community.
Is it
So
difficult to set up, Denise? Is it
no,
difficult?
no, it's very easy to set up. Very easy to set up. You
Okay.
know, it's just when you get into the community farm, it's a little, you have to kind of maneuver that because you have to keep the water supply checked, and keep the pH levels checked in the tower gardens. Even the one you have in your home, you have to check the pH level. But it's very easy to do,
Right.
just to make sure that the pH is balanced. So, it will take someone to be responsible for it in the school
Right.
or the church. And that's why I said with the schools, the kids will be the main ones in charge of it, over it. But, at times, in summer times when the kids are not there, then the teachers, whoever, the science teachers or the math teachers, whoever, would be the ones that would oversee it and make sure
Right.
that produce
Right.
keeps going.
And
But
this is a great learning opportunity for any school teachers or heads of school, principals, or church superintendents, pastors. It might be listening or watch this later. This would be great to be at the head of this, to jump on board now and be a forerunner with these tower gardens in your home or your church, and to help feed the community. I think it's great that you want churches to volunteer, because that's their mission anyway, is community, helping the community, helping to feed those who
right,
cannot afford
yeah.
fresh fruit, fresh vegetable, whole foods. This is important.
And food banks are wonderful, but you have to remember those foods are a lot of foods that have been outdated, and the grocery stores are just trying to, get rid of them before they expire, totally expire. So it's not really healthy foods. It's enough to keep someone alive, but
Right.
is it really going to help them to thrive? And that's what you really want to ask yourself as a community. You know, I mean, when you're starving, anything is better than nothing, you know. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm not putting down food banks at all, but a lot of the foods, like I said, are, foods that have gone bad, outdated in the grocery stores, and that's why they give them away to get rid of them
Right.
so that they can,
Right.
you know. And then you have a lot of preservative foods that are, that you're putting out there. So I'm the kind of person that I'm not going to give you anything that's going to harm you. Never.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care if it's water, bottled water, and I feel like, I'm not going to give you water that's acidic. I'm just not going to do that because I it's feel like I'm contributing to your demise. And
Right.
so I want to be able, and I feel like a lot of churches and the schools and people out there would feel the same way. They want to give something to someone, or at least be able to offer, you know, their community something at a reasonable cost that's going to help them to thrive and to live a healthier life, you know. And
Yes, I think about the children who are in these food deserts, in these areas where it's not affordable to eat healthy. It's not affordable, or you can't find
you can't
fresh
find it.
food.
Yeah,
You cannot find
you
it.
can't even find fresh produce. If you go on West Fairview, west side of Montgomery, I can't even tell you if I'm on Mobile Road somewhere, how far it takes to go to somewhere to get some fresh produce.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you go to someone's farm, out there.
Mm-hmm.
But driving to, some of these grocery stores, you're not getting fresh produce. You're going to get some water, the handoffs of the handoffs, and most of those grocery stores have secondhand produce that's been, expired at some of the name brand stores. So they pass it to the secondhand brand stores, and those are the ones that's in our communities.
Mm-hmm.
So the produce is nowhere. I mean, it's not only, you know possibly contaminated, of course, with pesticides. I mean, that's just a given. But you're also talking about not even having any serious nutrient value at all, because it has been depleted. It's been sitting out for so long and withered, and you can look at it. I
You
go
can
into
look
some of
at
the
it.
grocery stores and I can look at the lettuce and the produce, and it looks withered and dried up and rotten. And I'm like, oh my God, who can eat this? So there's a certain grocery stores I will not shop in, especially for my fresh produce. And
Mm-hmm.
I don't do bag food because I know that it's a high possibility, 50-50 chance that it's contaminated. It's
Yeah.
contaminated. So that's why I bought the tower garden, and I'm getting ready to grow mine. And I'll do a video as I'm setting mine up. It only takes about 20. We've set up one. I donated one that I had to another nonprofit organization because um, they have a prison ministry, and so
Oh, great.
what they do is
Yeah,
they help inmates that have been released from prison. Once they've been released from prison, they have trailers out on their property, and they have a really big property, and they house them. And so with that being said, I gave them my first tower garden that I bought because they needed some healthy nutrition to feed them,
right,
because
right.
they weren't getting that in prison, and they had the willingness and the heart to do so. And so I gave them my first tower garden. That's why I don't have one set up here, because I gave mine away. but
That's
I
you giving, 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 giving. So,
but I got another one. I do. I
what
do.
if someone is outside of the Montgomery area and they would like to somehow participate, or can they purchase the Tower Gardens
Yeah,
from you
they
on
can
your
purchase the
website?
community gardens for themselves. The community gardens are a little more expensive than the tower garden itself, the single family unit one. But they can purchase them, or like I said, this program is going to feed America. I'm not just stopping with Montgomery. I want to go wherever someone is willing and
Right,
ready,
right, right,
ready to do this. So I don't care if you are in North Carolina, you know, Mississippi, New York, wherever, long as you are willing and this is something you want to do, fill out an interest form, a contact form, and we will get the funds. And like I said, a lot of our funds come from Natural Organic U products. So all the products that we sell on there, we sell at wholesale prices, but we also, any profits are all going towards the tower farms and to eradicating the food deserts. So that's what that whole project is for. That program, Natural Organic U, is about eradicating, but it's also giving you good supplements. So it's a win-win-win for everybody, because it's actually giving your body good supplementation, because like I said, you can't sit down and chew enough of the good stuff, you know, all day long.
you'll
And
be eating all day, and I believe in that. They say eat your medicine, but you would be eating all day long to
you
make
will
sure
be,
you got
yeah,
the right amount of nutrients in your body.
exactly. So
Hmm.
supplementation is very important today, but um, we'll have hopefully have another segment about how do you determine a good supplement, because there are a lot of them out there. They're not created equal. And
Right.
so we had to invest a lot of money to actually get, really good manufacturers that were, NSF certified, that were, GMO, FDA approved laboratories, and that did third party testing and certificate of analysis to make sure that none of our products had heavy metals or bacteria. And unfortunately, a lot of the supplements on the market, that are coming from overseas are loaded with heavy metals and, even arsenic in them. So, and bacteria. So you have to be careful, where you're getting your supplements from. So we've invested a lot into making sure, because it's no way I can offer you something knowing that it's going to harm you, you know. And then I take it myself. Everything that we offer, I've taken even some of it, or I've taken all of it, or I still take a lot of it. Like the nutritional bundle, I take that every day, and it keeps me alive. It keeps me, I mean, when I say alive, it keeps my brain active. It pulls out the toxins in my body. It gives me all the vitamins. It helps to supplement the vitamins that my body's not getting from the nutrition that I'm eating, from the foods that I'm eating. And I eat, pretty good every day. I eat a salad or some fresh food, produce every day, and make a smoothie, with vitamin greens and things of that nature, and put my fruit in there, because that is the quickest way to get my
It
vegetable
is.
fruit,
It
because
is.
I couldn't sit there and eat a plate. The amount
Uh-uh.
of fruit that I put in my smoothie
No.
and the greens that I put in my smoothie, I would never ever be able to eat that much and
Right.
hold it, in my stomach.
Let me
So
let me ask you about your before we go, your sea moss. Now I've been to your website a few times. I don't remember seeing the word sea moss. So it's actually in
bio plant minerals.
okay.
And
Now
under the
how does someone
bottom,
looking for sea moss know that
yeah, it
I
says
mean
bioplant minerals. And
okay.
underneath the bottom, the subtitle, it does say organic sea moss. It does say sea moss, bladderwrack, and burdock root.
Okay. Okay.
So it's just the name, the title. And the reason we do that because there's so many sea mosses on the market.
Mm-hmm.
And when someone puts in sea moss, you're going to come up with tons of sea moss.
Right.
But if you put in bioplant minerals, you're going to come up with one, you know. So it comes about marketing and title and things of that nature. So a lot of our products, we name them certain things just so people would be easy to find. It'll make it easier for people to find them. But also it states what they are because that's what they are. They're biological plant minerals. They're
Mm-hmm.
minerals that the body needs, and they come from a plant source, and we're needed for our biology, for our bio. So that's what we call them, bioplant minerals.
Okay, that makes complete sense. And it is 8 o'clock, but I want you to close. I'm excited about these vertical gardens, low maintenance. The price is not bad. You said $800 without the lights, $1,200. That's an investment for a year-round garden
Yeah.
that you can have in your home or in your apartment. I said I was going to let you close and tell about it, so I'm going to hush. So
Oh
you.
no, you're doing great. You
I'm
have it down.
excited
See,
about
that's
it.
how simple it is. That's just how simple it is, Lavinda. You can even talk about it. You know, you don't have to be a rocket scientist. You don't have to study this stuff for years in order to talk about it because
Oh
once
my
it is
goodness.
so that it's just that simple to grow it. You know,
It sounds simple and it's
it,
convenient.
it
There's
is,
no soil. Like I said, I mentioned I've been wanting to start a garden for a few years now,
yeah,
but the whole process of getting started, that's been my hindrance. That's been my obstacle. But if I can go and get a tower garden and have it in my home and just check the levels, it's less water, right? Than
less water.
using it
It's only two
outside.
percent, only 2% of water that you
And
would normally.
32 plants come in this tower garden. 32 plants.
32 plants.
That's almost unbelievable. But please, you all go to We Love the Arts. If you want to know more about it and you want to see pictures of it, welovethearts.org. These are vertical tower gardens with fresh fruit and vegetables.
Mhm.
32 plants that you can have in your home or in your apartment, or you can have outside, but you need to protect them, of course.
Yeah.
But this is like low maintenance, year round fresh fruit. I can't say that enough. It's just too easy and it's worth the investment. And you know you're getting good,
Or
wholesome,
some.
fresh foods. Okay,
Yes.
so those in Montgomery, Alabama, okay, Whole Foods is gone, the store. Whole Foods is gone, but you can have your own, grow your own Whole
Whole
Foods
food.
right in your home.
That's
Right
right.
in your home.
That's right. That's right.
Hallelujah.
So
Hallelujah.
hallelujah is right. Hallelujah. You know, I mean, you can't get any better than this.
You
You
can't get
really
any
can't,
better than that. And the convenience.
yeah, yeah. You really can't get any better than this. If you really want to, you know, guard your health, and teach your children about nutrition and growing their own food and the importance of eating more foods that are plant-based, from the garden and get them off all this preservative sugar, food that's causing child obesity, early childhood diabetes, causing anxiety, stress, depression, suicide. All of these things are contributed to the foods that our children are consuming today. Um, Fast foods are loaded with sugar. A lot of the foods that our children, the hot dogs, preservatives, get them off of this stuff, people. If you care anything about your children and your grandchildren, you need to start looking at growing your own garden. You know, Anybody can do it. You can save up and buy a tower garden and have it in your home and grow your own produce. It would be such an enriching experience for your whole family. But not only that, it will be an enriching experience for your body and for your family's bodies. So we really want to make America healthier. And
Yes.
so it just makes sense. And like I said, I've done a lot of the research. I've done a lot of research in this before I brought it forth because I want to make sure and check the marks and look at some around the country and visit some around the country, taste the food that came from it, eat the food that came around it from off these gardens, and it makes sense. And it was like I wanted to start immediately. So I bought one, like I said, ended up giving it away to somebody that really needed it. And then I bought another one. So, it's no other way for me. This is
For me either. Okay, last question because it's after 8. How long does it take once you get it set up and ready to go? How long does it take before you actually see produce?
Well, you'll probably see produce in the first 2 weeks. You'll start seeing it sprouting up.
Really?
Uh-huh.
Really?
Really,
Okay.
you start seeing it sprouted before you put the seedlings in there into the units, and then within 6 weeks, 8 weeks, you have a harvest. You have harvest.
Girl.
You have your first harvest.
Wow.
So, and
Wow.
then you put your other seedlings and you pull those out, bag it up. If you can't eat it all, give it to your neighbors, give it to your family members, don't let fresh produce go to waste.
Hmm.
And but you're gonna have to be able to consume it, So it's wonderful. But just to be able to go to your garden in your house and pull the lettuce off and fix you a fresh plate right there, of
Or
tomatoes,
a
tart,
strawberry
a
and actually
strawberry.
know that it's fresh. You don't
Oh
have to
my God,
wonder
the
if it was.
strawberry is so delicious and so sweet. You've never tasted a strawberry till you taste it. And I've heard of this before because you know people tell me all the time, you never tasted a mango until you've gone to Jamaica or to Africa and you've tasted a real mango. Because the mangoes that we eat here do not taste like the real
Wow.
mangoes. So I understand now, when a vegetable or fruit gets its real nutrients, gets all the nutrients that it needs, it has a very distinct taste to it.
Taste.
So
Well, I'm looking forward to that. That's a shame. In my 50s, before I taste the actual natural whole
Whole Foods.
strawberry, what it's supposed to taste
Yeah,
like.
but I know we don't want to go over, but I remember when my grandmother grew her own garden in Tuskegee, and her turnip greens and collards tasted so different than what we eat today.
Mm,
It was a whole different flavor. Every time I went to, I was like, these don't taste the same. Even the ones that my mother used to cook didn't taste like the ones that came out of my grandmother's garden. So it is a difference when you have, food that is really getting the nutrients that it needs. It's a
wow. Well, I'm looking forward to it. So, you all, please share this. Please share and also go to welovethearts.org to actually see this vertical tower garden. Um, and you can actually order it from your website also. Is that right? Or just contact you for?
just contact me about
Okay,
it and
great,
I'll, yeah.
great, great. And it's a great investment for family. And let me hush because I'll be repeating myself all over again. So thank you all for joining us. And I have to acknowledge my sponsor, attorney Robert Allen. And we're going to close until the next segment of The Other Woman magazine and the upcoming issue. My deadline, my goal is at the end of the month. It may be the 31st, it may not, but it's going to be.
Hey, that's okay. Just get to it. That's all right. We're all working towards that deadline.
So you guys, thank you for joining us, and go to welovethearts.org with Dr. Denise McClain Dukes. Dr. Dukes Speaks. Thank you so much, Denise, for joining us.
Thank you, Lavender. I appreciate you having me.
All righty.